Oh my goodness. Good morning, everyone, and welcome again to another edition of Coffee and Sports in the Morning. I'm your host, Mr. William D. Morgan, and I have my brother from another mother here, my man Mo Better. Mo, what's going on, man?
Hey, good morning, Will. What's going on with you and everybody out there joining us?
Doing good, man. Doing good, man. Had an awesome night in the NBA last night. We'll go over some of those games. I also don't understand what the heck the Lions are doing with these trying to change rules um, in the NFL. If it ain't broke, don't fix it, in my opinion. So we got a lot to talk about this morning. But the first thing I do want to talk about, the Lakers get a win. Shorthanded Lakers get a win last night against the shorthanded Nuggets, 120 to 108. Luka had 31 points, 9 rebounds, and 7 assists. My question to you is: this a confident confidence builder for the Lakers, or just another win against a shorthanded team?
I don't think that this game matters in the standings, but they've beaten the Nuggets with Jokic, with Murray. So I don't think
Yes.
this changes their confidence one way or another. I think that going into a series versus the Nuggets, they know the challenges they face, but I I hate to sound overly cocky. This isn't a Laker fan. This is me just as a sports fan. Denver isn't a good matchup. I think the Lakers would light Denver up. I don't think it would be that good a series. The Nuggets don't have enough shooting to where they can punish the Lakers. They can load up on Joker and say if Jamal Murray is going to go off and be great, we might be in trouble. The problem with Jamal Murray is he might not be great at all. He might be god awful. There's a give and take with him. He's become more streaky than consistent. So I'm not worried about him. And more importantly, anybody that faces the Nuggets, be it the Lakers or the Thunder or the Timberwolves, the first thing you recognize is they don't have no bench. They have no depth.
Yes.
They have
Yes.
they have nothing coming off their bench that's
Outside
gonna
of Westbrook.
yeah, and often he's in the starting lineup, but right, they don't. And look, Russ is terrific when he's terrific, but Russ is a lot like a roller coaster. There are games where he got to get the hook early. I think Denver has a chance because they have an all-time great player who's capable of leading you on a run. He can't do it by himself, though. He can't do it by himself. That game last night, as soon as you knew Joker and Murray was out, basically what you had was an all-time great player in Luka versus a bunch of guys. The game was over in the first quarter.
Yeah. 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 Luka had a 20 point, I believe Luka had a 20 point third quarter. Um, just just awesome last night to see him look like he's coming back into the fold. Um, I, like I say, it's finally that trade look like it's finally working out for the Lakers. He's been awesome these past 9 games.
Look, he's terrific. The only question I've always had is because he and LeBron's skill sets are so similar,
Yeah.
would LeBron be able to take a step back and let Luca be more of the facilitator, let him be the primary ball handler? And he's done that. And the best version of Luca is when Luca's ball dominant, when he can make the decisions, when he can create and others kind of move off ball from him. And he's been that over the past 10, 12 games. So it makes the Lakers scary. I know a lot of people are talking about their offense. Our defense, I think their biggest strength is their offense. Their offense, to me, is their defense, right? If
Yeah.
they can get you on your heels and you play at their pace, because the Lakers can run, but they prefer to walk it up and kind of shred you with their offense in the half court set because of Luka, because of LeBron. When you've got two guys who are perimeter players that can create, recognize double teams, and pass the way they do, that's scary to handle. Think about the way the West is aligned. Of the contenders, what other team has two perimeter players that do what they do? Like Oklahoma City, if you were just going if you were just going top to bottom, talent wise, well, OKC's a more talented team than the Lakers.
Yes.
But the game's not played 12 against 12. It's
Exactly.
it's, it's 5 on 5. And I don't care if you have more overall talent. If I've got the two more dominant players in the series, I have the advantage. I can control pace and make you play to what I play. As great as SGA is, there's not a second guy on that roster that aligns with him to where you could say that duo is as good as the Lakers duo, right? Nothing in Minnesota says that. Nothing in Denver says that. Certainly nothing with the Clippers says that. Like go through the West. The Grizzlies don't say that. The Rockets can't say that. Like the Lakers are the only team in the West that can make that claim, and that's why they're a tough out. Now we joke around a lot, and we do that Lakers and fives bit a lot. I'm joking, right? And look, for me, it's tongue in cheek. I'm joking. I think the Lakers are capable of a deep run, but I don't think they quite have enough to get to the finals. I really don't. Now they could prove me wrong, but I don't. Do I think they can win a first round series? Yes. A second round series? Probably. We'll see. I'm not sure about that, depending on the matchup. But because they rely so much on Luka LeBron, there is the other side of the coin, right? If they play against an efficient offense, a deep team that can turn around and go, well, this is where the Lakers are weak at, especially in half court defense. We can go ahead and go after Luka, right? We can hunt Austin Reeves. At times, you can hunt LeBron. It's just what it is.
It's all the Kinect too.
Right. It just is what it is. So that's why I think there's a double-edged sword with what the Lakers can do. I'm less concerned about their offense and more concerned about their half-court defense and their transition defense. The Lakers are a horrible transition defensive team. So again, the game last night, and honestly, Will, I bounced before halftime. That's how sure I was it was done. And I heard they made a run late, but did they win?
They did. They made a little bit of a run, but they get a little bit close. But that game was not in doubt. What's up, Gene? What's going on, my brother? How you doing? How you doing? He's fired up for this show. I know that's right. He wants to ask you, so who are you picking coming out the West?
Well, so they go, I'll do it this way. Oklahoma City's the favorite. So if you tell me Oklahoma City or the field, I'm taking the field. But I say field because I don't think there's a dominant team in the West.
That's a betting man's bet.
Yeah, it's what it is. I don't know what it is. It's a gut check. And my gut tells me everything about Oklahoma City says they're going to the finals. And yet my gut says, no, they're not. They're not in the finals. They're not going to the finals.
And I think you're right to put that in doubt because they're still a young team.
They are. They're core players. I'm talking about the guys that they came up with. I think SGA is 26 and everybody else is 23 and under. They're young. So I can't do that.
Gene says, nah. I need an answer. He needs an answer from you.
All right. Well, look, I'll put it this way. Because I'm not totally sold on OKC, I'll take Lakers in 5.
Lakers in 5.
If I got to gamble, if I got to gamble, if you say pick between OKC and the Lakers, I'm gonna take the Lakers.
What's up, Key? How you doing, Key? How you doing? All right, so he's taking the Lakers. Lakers in 5.
I tell you what. Here's a safe bet. And you heard it from me here first, Will. You can every show you on from here on out, even with your guys on the sports reporters. I'll tell you this right now: the Lakers are a safer pick 7 days a week, 24/7, 365 than Golden State.
Oh.
If you bet in Golden State and you bet in the house, you're gonna be broke. You're gonna be broke.
He done said it. You go at them Warriors. Hey.
That's how confident I am in terms of what they are versus Golden State. If I hope they play. I hope they play. That's a fast series. I
got OKC. I think yes, they are a young team. I do think that talent will win out in the end. You know, the team that really worries me though in the West, and I don't know why, the Grizzlies worry me.
The Grizzlies are deep.
Yeah, they're a deep team. If Ja is Ja, and Jaren Jackson continues to play the way he's playing, that's tough.
The thing about Ja is, what is he? Because he's not the best player on the team. Let's start there. He's not even the best player on the team. The best player on the team is Jaren Jackson.
Yep.
So look, Ja, first of all, Ja's a streaky shooter. He's not a natural shooter. And if he can't attack and get downhill, he becomes really ordinary. And on the other side of the ball, despite all his athleticism, he's a poor defender.
Oh,
I
heck yeah, I agree with that. I agree with that.
I
They
don't
took a
I
long
don't
ball.
I don't trust Memphis because they play when you watch them play, it looks like a pickup game. Like they don't really run sets, they just run.
Mhm.
And when they're on, they could dismantle teams. But if you slow them down, which is what happens more times than not in the playoffs when it becomes about half court execution, they just don't have it. They don't have it. I just don't trust them in the postseason. I don't. When I look at their core, when you're talking about Baines, Jaren Jackson, Ja, Aldama, those guys, I don't trust it. But I trust Houston, who I think doesn't have enough shooting more than I
Yeah.
trust the Grizzlies.
Hey, they got some athletes too.
I think Houston might be the most athletic team in the NBA.
They might be. They got some athletes on their own right. Gene said he's going with the Warriors. He says playoff Jimmy with Steph is dangerous. I agree with that. Oh man. Give me buckets, give me Chef, give me Sabretooth Draymond, give me Kerr, give me experience. Warriors in 7.
All right. I ain't about that experience. You know, that's when you say experience is a clever way to say old, but okay.
This is gonna be interesting in that West, man.
See, my guy is old too. The guy in the Laker, he old too, but the difference is he don't look it. He don't play.
This is gonna be interesting. This is gonna be interesting in the West because it's gonna be really interesting because you really don't have between OKC's youth and the way everything is bundled up, you really can't put house money on nobody.
You can't. Look, as a fan of basketball in general, we all root for our favorite team, right?
Yep.
We just do by default.
Yep.
But if the Lakers, if the Lakers weren't going to win, and I don't think they're ultimately going to win at all, but if the Lakers weren't going to win, I'd be rooting for Oklahoma City. Do you know what I mean? Like, because it's good for a league, a young team that was built up. You know what I mean? Like drafted, developed, grew together. That core, you kind of root for that. This is kind of an Oklahoma City 2.0. It's not Westbrook, Durant, Harden, and Ibaka, but it is SGA. It is Chet. It is Jay Will. They're deep when you start talking about Wiggins and those other supplemental parts. I think they're as deep, if not deeper, than any team in basketball. I think they have a terrific star that can carry them, who also, by the way, is a two-way player.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, the stars align, right? The stars align and say Oklahoma City's playing either Boston or Cleveland in the finals. That's what the stars say. I'm going against the grain. I'm not. It's not that I'm rooting against them per se. What I'm saying is, the regular season you make your name.
Yes.
The playoffs is where you make your fame. I don't know if they're playoff ready. Some teams, some players, by the way, are built for the regular season. I don't know if the team as a whole is built for the postseason.
Now, Gene's asking you, Chef looking old?
I think he looks old at times. Sure. I mean, look, there's nights where Curry goes 13 for 18, right? And then there's nights where Curry goes 2 for 15. That's father time. Yeah. That's father time. It happens.
Lakers versus Boston is much better for the lead than OKC versus Cleveland.
I think it's much better for viewership. Maybe that might be true for casual fans,
right?
But I don't know within the league office. I'm sure Silver would love Lakers Celtics, but I don't think he would hate Cavs Lakers, because wouldn't Cavs Lakers be just as much drama if you think about it? Because it would be LeBron trying
against
to win
his old team,
number 5 against the squad he came up with, he gave them their one and only title.
Yep.
Like what satisfaction would Cleveland feel if they could beat LeBron in the finals? Like that would mean not only have we turned the corner and found a way to be relevant without him, we just beat this dude.
We got last night. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. That was it.
In other NBA action, the Cavs take a rare loss versus the Kings, 123-119. Kings played, I think, mine last night, and I was sort of kind of shocked the Cavs came up short.
So the Cavs are on a 3-game losing streak, which is rare for them because they just
Yep.
came off a 16-game win streak.
Yep.
But I think when you get to this point in the league, Will, or this time in the league in the season, these are the dog days, right? These are the days where you're protecting guys more, and you're kind of like tamping down to make sure you can go to the postseason healthy. I'm not concerned about the Cavs. You know what? Maybe they've taken the eye off the ball and got a little lackluster. There's only 2 teams in the Eastern Conference that are title contenders. It's the Cavs, it's the Celtics.
The Celtics, agreed.
And I don't mean this in a disrespectful way. After the Cavs and the Celtics, I would argue that Detroit is as dangerous as anybody else after the Cavs and Celtics, right? Like, I know the Knicks are 3, but if you told me Knicks Pistons, I don't think it's a lot.
I'm taking the Pistons.
I don't think it's a lot that the Knicks will win that series. I think if you look at the rosters top to bottom and you look at both teams' best player, Kate Cunningham is a bad man.
I'm taking the Pistons. I'm taking the Pistons in that.
I think the Pistons are actually more talented. And I mean that. They're deeper and they're more talented.
Yeah. Any team is prone to an upset. And that Eastern Conference, outside of those 2 teams, again, is another toss-up.
It is.
It's another toss-up outside of those 2 teams. I mean, you don't know what Bucks team we gonna get.
No, we do. We do.
Oh, we do?
Yeah, we do. Giannis is gonna put up pretty good numbers.
Yeah.
Dame is going to be in and out in terms of his consistency, and the Bucks are going to go home. At best, they win a first-round series, but they're not getting past the second round. I don't think they're deep enough. I think that when people got excited about getting them getting Kyle Kuzma, they got Kuzma. And I told people at the time, Kyle Kuzma's not an upgrade from Chris Middleton. The only upgrade is he's younger than him. But even right now, the current version of Kyle Kuzma is not better than Chris Middleton. So the Bucks made a panic move, and it's not paying off. They don't have enough offensively when they play against teams that are really talented. And defensively, really look at the Bucks roster. They're old. That's an old squad. That's an old squad, and they move like an old squad. Outside of Giannis, they got maybe one other guy that's athletic. The Bucks are the least athletic team in the NBA.
I think they got a decent rookie who's playing really good defense. But outside of that,
you talking about Jackson?
Yep. But outside of that,
I mean, he's really athletic, plays with a lot of energy. The problem is he can't shoot. Like he couldn't hit water if he fell out of a boat. He can't shoot.
And that's the problem with the league today. If you can't shoot, you're a detriment.
Facts.
If you can't shoot the basketball, even mid-range, I'm not saying threes. If you don't have a consistent jumper from a mid-range or from the baseline, because you remember back in the day, if you can hit that baseline jumper, that could be your bread and butter primarily. That's what AC Green, all he did back in the day, baseline jumper, and he was consistent with it.
Right.
But if you can't do that, then you're going to be a detriment in the league.
And that's the problem. Like in this league, you can either shoot the ball at a high level or you're so talented off the dribble that you can get to wherever you want to, and that can compensate for the fact that you're not a good shooter. If you're a dynamic attacker of the basket, you can off-put the fact that you're not a great shooter. But he's not that either. I still think we're talking about a young player. He's still developing. But the Eastern Conference to me, like I said, when you get past Celtics, Cavaliers, there's a lot of people that think if the Knicks are whole, they're a threat.
No, I don't see it.
I don't think you're a threat when everything your offense is dependent on one guy. As great as Towns is, Towns has to have somebody set him up, right?
Mm-hmm.
Towns is not going to live in the post. That's not what he does.
No.
And Jalen, their offense is too Jalen Brunson centric. Like everything they do is off of Jalen Brunson. Like they have no other guy. Think about this. Who creates shots for other people in that roster other than Jalen Brunson?
Nobody.
Maybe Towns if he gets a double team, but their other perimeter guys, they're not really good off the bounce. They don't create for others or themselves. The Knicks are not a balanced team.
No, and then the thing that kills me too, You know good and well those starters going to be playing 38, 39 minutes every playoff game you in there. You
Well,
know that.
Well, that's Tom Thibodeau.
That's Tom Thibodeau.
They kind of play that way in the regular season. That's
yeah. He's gonna you're gonna be run down toward the fourth quarter, and once that happens, that's it. They done. Catch you with the chat real quick. Yeah, you'll never get a completely healthy team with him. And you're late in the season. Tibbs makes it even tougher because every team is beat up. Every team has injuries, and Thibodeau exacerbates that. Yeah, you forgot all about Kuzma. Yeah, I don't understand why they made that trade. Doc gonna be Doc. Yeah, true. Oh, appreciate that, man. We just doing our thing here on Coffee and Sports in the morning.
Doc gonna be Doc, but look at their roster, Will. I mean, really look at the Bucks roster. Once you get past Giannis and Dame, Brook Lopez is getting older. They just don't have a lot of talent. Taurean Prince is a journeyman. I don't see it. I think they thought Gary Trent Jr. was going to be their big guy off the three, and he off the bench, and he's been inconsistent. I look at the Bucks, and they just don't have a lot of talent. And the Damian Lillard trade, to me, maybe came 2 or 3 years too late. I don't think Dame's washed, but I don't think he's a superstar either. I think that the Dame Giannis combo, it's not a bad combo, but it's not a championship combo, right? Like
no.
And look, Giannis is a great player, but he has a very unique skill set in that while he's a 4, he has a game that's more like a 5. He's not a shooter, even though he shot a little bit more for the mid-range, but he can't live off of shooting. If Giannis isn't getting downhill and attacking the rim, he's guardable. If you set up walls, and here's the default. Even if he gets to the paint, if you foul him, that's not a bad basketball play because he's a horrible free throw shooter.
Right.
So I think that's the harm when you rely on somebody like that late in game. As great as he is, and he's a great player, but I think they have too many flaws. And even I don't care who the coach of the Cavs is, you could put Phil Jackson in there. With that roster, the way that roster construction is, they're not winning a title. The 1 year they won it, their core was a little bit different, and their core had high basketball IQ. You're talking about Chris Middleton, Drew Holiday, good players, but super high basketball IQs. I just don't think this team, the way it's built, is very well rounded. And guys like Middleton and Holiday, they're willing to do the little dirty things, right? 50-50 ball, set pick, draw charges. That's not in Dame's makeup. That's not in his DNA. That's not what he does.
We're talking about Dame not being a superstar when he's got better numbers than Steph, and he's been more efficient.
You don't have to argue. I'm not arguing about better numbers. I'm talking about results. Damian Lillard, yeah, he's had bigger games, but watch them play. You know what defenses do or offenses do? They hunt Dame because he's a poor defender. They single him out at will. People love Damian Lillard. This is what I'll say. I think Damian Lillard is a talented player. I think he's had moments. But you were never going to win anything with Damian Lillard as your best player.
Right.
No one's going to argue that. Not even his family. You're not going to win. You weren't going to win if he's your best player. And he held onto the notion, I'm never going to team up with anybody. I'm not going to be like them other guys. I'm here, right? I'm 10 toes in. I'm with Portland. I'm not going nowhere until I demand to go somewhere.
I'm standing on business until I decide to not stand on business anymore.
Which he turned right back around after he got paid and said, I ain't standing on business no more.
I ain't standing on business no more.
Right. And now he's a sidekick. The thing is, it doesn't, you know what it is? Their talents, their skill sets, they don't complement each other.
No.
Their skill sets don't. I think they thought bringing in another guy that can give you 25 to 30 a night with Giannis, and that's going to elevate the team as a whole. And it's not worked out. It's not worked out. And look, you can throw numbers up, but this I'll simplify it. The numbers say he had a better season, but late in games in a postseason when it matters most, Steph, Dame, taking Steph all day.
Yeah.
Dame's biggest moments. He's had that walk off against OKC. I think he had a walk off against the Rockets. That's the Dame Lillard story in the postseason. I also seen him get swept in the postseason. I also seen him against the Pelicans get clamped down by Drew Holiday. So I don't think Damian Lillard is a superstar at this point in his career. He's an all-star, and when you look back on Dame's time with Milwaukee, what you're going to remember is they did all that, brought him in, and they won nothing.
And we all know there's a huge difference between being a superstar and an all-star. There's a huge difference between the two. We all know this.
He's a great player. I don't think he's a superstar at this point in his league. Like, people thought it was as simple as, oh no, if you put Dame and Giannis together, you know what's going to happen? Nothing at all. Nothing changes.
Last night we had the Pelicans get a win last night, 119-115 against the Minnesota Timberwolves. Zion Williamson had a big night. Is he starting to become a big tease in the NBA with these nights? Great night, great night, great night, hurt. Great night, great night, great night, hurt. Is he becoming a big tease in the NBA?
He's the biggest tease in the NBA because where are we at in the season? What are the team's records? What stage in the season are we at? When it's pretty much over about who's going to make the postseason and it's decided, Zion always looks really good late in the season, right? And everybody goes, my God, when we get him back next year and we come out firing on all cylinders next year, we're going to be in the playoffs. We're going to be in the playoffs. And then what happens? Hurt.
Yeah.
Out of shape.
Yeah.
Groin injury. Knee injury, ankle injury. Look, I think that Zion Williamson, I feel like he's the kind of guy that he sells you on his potential. You get really excited if you're part of the Pelicans fan base, and he does just enough to remind you that, oh, here we go again. Here we go again. This guy. Look, I said this before. I said this before the season. There are two guys in the NBA and I said this before the season, that you should get rid of when they're healthy. Right away. Joel Embiid.
Yep.
And Zion Williamson.
Yep.
Right away. Right. Let's start with a simple fact. Are the Pelicans ever going to win a title in the Zion era? You know, and I know they're not. You know it. That. By the way, that's if he's healthy and everything goes well. You're not winning. You're not winning anything. It doesn't benefit your franchise to depend on a guy that misses most games. It's detrimental to your franchise. What's the thing? The best ability is availability. He ain't that.
No, not at all.
He is a highlight reel. When it's all said and done, Zion Williamson is going to have one of the greatest highlight reels maybe in NBA history, and people are going to go, man, you didn't see Zion. If they're going to lead every conversation is, if he was healthy, he would have done this. He's going to be all time great. They say it all the time, but you know what he's not going to do? He ain't going to win no title. He's going to lead you to no title, and he's not going to play a lot of games.
Yep. He was, and then never will forget when Shaq and Charles Barkley was talking about him, but he had those weight issues. Look like those two had a baby. So, man,
I was finna say, I don't think either one of them should come for nobody with weight issues. They should. They need to chill on that.
We just talked about the Knicks. The Spurs get a huge win. See, my night just goes so much better when the Knicks lose. Spurs get a big win, 120-105. Can't stand the daggone Knicks. Tom Thibodeau just up here ruining stuff. That's a good win for the Spurs. What do you think the Spurs outlook would be for next season?
Look, I think they're set. Castle's a stud.
Oh yeah, he is. That's your rookie of the year right there, by the way.
And he's only going to get better.
Yep.
De'Aaron Fox, when he's healthy, he's in his prime. He's 26. He's in his prime.
Yep. You
get back a fully operated, ready to go Wemby. They already have really good supplemental parts. When you look at Devin Vassell, they're talented already. Here's the scary part, though. They're not going to make the playoffs. If they find themselves in the lottery, if the Spurs get the number 1 pick,
boy, and Cooper Flag. Ooh.
Wemby, Flag,
Flag.
Castle.
Ooh.
You get
Boy.
Wemby, Flag, and Castle. Spurs
Boy.
Spurs and 5. Spurs and 5.
Spurs and 5.
They're gonna be an instant problem, and it's very rare that you get a team that young when 2 of your 3 top players are not even 21. That's crazy.
That's crazy to me. Spurs are in good shape. They're going to be in good shape in the future. Talked about OKC earlier. They get a good win against the 76ers, 133-100. Tell me where Paul George goes from here. He's already out for the season. Where does Paul George go from here?
Podcasting Hall of Fame.
Podcast Hall of Fame.
Yeah, maybe he gets into anime or something. I mean, he got the money. He got the money to start his own studio. But I mean, look, Daryl Morey crippled the Sixers. He crippled them from within. Like, what was that? A Trojan horse? He the Trojan horse.
Yep.
He the Trojan horse. Let me show you how to destroy a franchise from within. Daryl Morey, he didn't have those things that you need to have to make tough choices, and you would have moved on from Joel Embiid. He didn't make tough choices. He did what he normally does. He went out and got a big name, overpaid the big name, who's, by the way, well past his prime.
Oh yeah.
And here's what this was Daryl Morey's selling point. It's his selling point. It was, well, Paul George just came off a season where he played 73 games. Okay, but if you look at the breadth of Paul George's career, is he known for playing 70+ games?
No.
And this is 35-year-old Paul George. So the man came to Philly broken up, and he came to Philly mentally detached because he didn't want to be in Philly. Will, where do you want to be, Will? He wanted to be with the Clippers.
Yep.
He wanted the Clippers to make an offer to counter. He wanted to stay a Clipper. He went to Philly because Philly got in a bidding war with Philly. Like, nobody, like, they were like, we're gonna give Paul George $180 million. No, we're gonna give him $200 million. Nobody else was bidding. They bidding by themselves. They bid by themselves and gave that man $225, and he in street clothes all the time. So I don't look. What we know is the Sixers are going to have a good draft pick. That's what we know. So
Gene said, what's your obsession with the 76ers? Do you like kicking a tail? Why is this a topic?
Hey, that's fair. Why is it top? I didn't bring it up. The point guard brought it up.
I did it. It's my fault. It's my fault, Gene. I'm terrible, Gene. I'm terrible. I told you that the other day.
Hey, just for fun. Just for fun, since we're here and we're on this subject, and this is just me having fun with the NFL genius. I'm still waiting on that 10-game winning streak, buddy.
Oh,
I'm still waiting on that 10-game winning streak. We can put it on pause for next year, okay? Because clearly there'll never be a 10-game win streak this year.
Mo, we got the Pacers getting a good win against the Mavericks last night. Pascal Siakam, 29 points for the Pacers. Do you think they're gonna cause any noise in the East?
No.
Yeah, me neither.
No. The Pacers are a playoff team. They'll get in the playoffs. They might win a first round series. They might go home right away. But do I think they're gonna go on a deep run? Nope.
Be gone.
Nope.
They be gone. They making strides in the right direction though.
I don't know what they are. Here's how they're built. Siakam's their second best player.
Mm-hmm.
He's
number one.
He's imbalanced. He shouldn't be your second best player. He should be your third best player. And Halliburton is your best player, at least, or he's your biggest star. But Halliburton does not have an alpha mentality. He doesn't. He'll give you 18 and 10 one night, and then he'll give you 15 and 4. Like, he doesn't have that dog in him where he goes, I want to be known as I'm better than him, and him, right? That's not his mentality. I think that when your best player doesn't assert himself, doesn't have that alpha mentality, your ceiling for success, how far you can go, is limited. People are looking at the Pacers and they're thinking about what they did last year, that wasn't the beginning of the Pacers becoming a great team in the East. That was just a run. Don't confuse a run with actually building something that's sustainable. It was a run, nothing more than that.
They're 39-29 right now, so they'll possibly get a first round victory. But after that, I still think they're making moves in the right direction because the season before last, they weren't the best team. So they've made some changes. They're trying to moving up the ladder a little bit. I think they're in the right direction, but they still need more. They need that number one because I always thought Halliburton was a number 2 guy and Pascal Siakam was a number 3.
Right. Me too. And look, they can only play one style really well, and that's when they play up tempo. If they get you into playing their style at their pace, they can be an interesting team. But if you slow them down and you say, beat me in the half court, beat me with your half court set and execution, it's not going to happen.
Said the Sixers would lose by 50. We lost by 33, so I was close.
Right.
Oh my
right.
goodness.
And look, I want to remind. Well, I don't want to kill the Sixers, but right. And the thing is, they lost by 33 in Oklahoma City. Like they rested all their stars. Like they're like, it's just the Sixers, y'all. We good. Go watch a show or something.
We got the Pistons getting a good win last night against the Heat, 116-113. That was an excellent game. Bam Adebayo led the Heat. Like I say, and I agree with you that Pistons team is something to be worried about. My only issue with the Pistons is their mentality in terms of, and we sort of kind of saw it the other night when they weren't getting calls, or if the calls go against them, how are they going to react? And we saw and I love the passion from JB. I do. But at the same point, you have to be able to mitigate that. You have to be able to keep that under control so you can win these closer games. That's my only concern with Detroit is the mentality.
They're young, and I think that a young team like that, you're right, a veteran team, maybe if because they, in the postseason, they allow a little bit more physicality. I think they can bait them and lure them into a series that they don't want to be into. They are young, and so the frustration factor is a big thing because, a strength when you're a young team is you don't know what you don't know, but that also can be a weakness when you play against a crafty veteran team that knows how to get up under your skin and use your own physicality when you retaliate against you. Cade Cunningham is the head of the snake. A smart veteran team, they're going to go after him, trap him, and dare somebody else to beat them. And they have talent, but I don't know if the other guys can consistently be productive outside of what Cade does for everybody else, because he really does. He's like the conductor when it comes to the way they run that offense. Everything is really predicated on his creation. I mean, don't get me wrong. They don't have Ivy. He's been injured, but they do have some solid veterans. Tobias Harris in the role that they got him in,
it's perfect for him.
It's the perfect role. Along with Hardaway Jr. and what he's done for them. Malik Beasley has been very effective for them as a veteran. So I think they have a nice blend of veterans and young players. It's just that in the postseason, your veterans like Malik Beasley, they need to be able to get in those young guys' head and let them know like the playoffs is a completely different monster than the regular season.
The last game we want to talk about before we talk about a little bit of the NFL, we got the Rockets last night getting a huge win, 116-108 over the Magic. Again, I'm with your sentiment. That Rockets team is going to be that's also going to be a tough out. That's going to be a tough out. Athletic as they are, I don't know if I trust their shooting 24/7, but with that athleticism and the way you got those boys running in terms of coaching, that's going to be a tough out.
I think the things they can rely on is the coaching of Coach UD. The fact that they're very athletic, that they beat teams to I think they're either the second or third leading rebounding team in the NBA, so they get after it on the boards.
Yep.
They compete for the 50-50 balls. They're physical off ball when they defend. Like some teams don't engage defensively until the guy they're guarding has the ball. The way Udoka coaches is you play defense off the ball. Like these guys are aggressive. They play the passing lanes. When you look at what Thompson does in the past, like Thompson is a dominant defender now. already this young. Tari Eason is a terrific defender. Now, like they have 4 wings that are 6'6", 6'8". I didn't even mention Dylan Brooks and what he's done defensively, and he's been a leader in that locker room. Dylan Brooks is shooting a career high, I think like 38% from 3. So overall, though, when you look at their team, 2 of their 3 leading scorers, their shooting splits are under the water. As gifted as Green is, he's streaky at best. Fred VanVleet is a good veteran, but he's shooting under 40% from the field, under the league minimum from 3. I just think that they need somebody to get hot now. They need a guy that when he's open, you can book it, and I don't think that's on their roster.
All right, let's move over to the NFL. And there was some proposed rule changes that came down the pike yesterday. It's being reported. The Detroit Lions proposed 3 rule changes, including a major playoff seeding fix. I'm just the type of person that believes if it ain't broke, don't fix it. I don't know why you would try to make changes. But the first thing that they're proposing, eliminate automatic first downs on illegal contact and defensive holding penalties.
And this is something the Lions feel they need to happen to get to the Super Bowl? Look, here, let me propose a rule. I'll propose a rule. How about your quarterback don't throw 4 or 5 picks in the postseason?
There you go.
How about that? Like
there you go.
How about you propose a rule that he looked like all world in a regular season, and then the postseason when it matters? How about your quarterback don't choke? How about
he wets the bed?
Right. So how about you handle that? Make that a rule. Make that a rule when you start training camp. All right.
Heck yeah.
Just do that.
Let that be the rule.
Right. Let that be the rule. No more choking in the postseason. How about that? You do that, and you should be fine, and you don't even have to worry about them other rule changes. Make that a rule.
It's killing me, man. The second one, and this one is killing me too. Change playoff seeding so that the wild card teams with a better record get a higher seed than a division winner.
No.
Bruh.
No. It's been that. I get the argument they're trying to make. Don't do that, man. If it ain't, to me, the system's not, that system isn't broke.
No.
And you're trying really hard to make changes that you think will benefit you. And I don't think it matters. Like that's a pressing issue for you. You know what I mean? Like not the fact that you might want to get some more guys on defense because your defense looks kind of poor when it mattered most. Like, and I know that Hutchinson was hurt, right? But even if he was healthy, would he be able to offset the quarterback throwing 4 picks? Like,
right?
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It was funny because we talk about this a lot, but this applies to all sports. There are some teams that people see them make an amazing run and they go, man, they're about to be one of the most dominant teams in football, right? And they turn around when the expectations are through the roof, and like you said, they wet the bed. They wet the bed. Not everybody. Look, not everybody's cut the same way. Period. I think Detroit's gonna be good again next year. Do I think they're going to the Super Bowl? No. I don't.
No.
I think look, I hate to be mean, but as long as that guy's your quarterback, you ain't going to Super Bowl.
I agree. I agree, but I do like that running game.
Love the running game. Love the receivers.
Receivers are great.
I think the same way that I told you earlier in the week that Brock Purdy's a good quarterback, but he's a product of the system.
Yep.
I'm just saying
they got the
same situation in Detroit. Everything is set up for him to do well. They have set him up for success. They ask one thing: don't turn the ball over.
And we all know if you lose the turnover battle, 95, 99% of the time, you lose in the game.
Facts.
So, and the third change, players placed on IR before cut down date do not count against the team 90 man's roster limit.
I don't have a problem with that one though.
Again, yeah, but that system ain't broke either.
No, I don't think the system is broke, but I don't even mind that one. That it's interesting because it would that change would benefit everybody, right? There's
Because you
some
could sign another player in that
exa-
instance.
that's what I mean. You could sign another player potentially, maybe a guy that you don't want to use right away, but you
Right.
just want to have him signed, right? So
Mm.
I do think that one could be a benefit. The other two, I don't really care much for.
Yeah, me neither. Me neither. All right. Yesterday, the Vikings officially said they are moving on from Aaron Rodgers. They're sticking with JJ McCarthy. What backup do you think the Vikings can bring in to be effective for McCarthy? In case he should go down with injury.
Well, look, if JJ is your guy, and I think he is their guy, I think you can bring in a solid backup that isn't the kind of backup that JJ has to look over his shoulders, right? So you can bring in a veteran who's good in the locker room, a solid vet like Jacoby Brissett, right? That's a solid vet, right?
Yes.
That
Yes.
that that is a solid vet, a good locker room guy. I think he'd be a good fit for them. Like you can bring in that kind of veteran. Like somebody, I know a lot of people go, well, you can bring in Russell Wilson. You can't bring in Russell Wilson because Russell Wilson still feels like he's a
He's a
starter.
starter.
Right. And Jacoby Brissett doesn't. There's a different mindset. So I think you need to bring in a veteran that knows this is the role we have for you, right? And should JJ go down for a game or two, you're our guy. But other than that,
No, she didn't.
you're gonna be carrying a clip.
No, she didn't.
Oh, did she say Carson Wentz?
Yes, she did.
Ooh.
All right. I don't know about that. I don't know about that. Oh my
I would
God.
say that I don't know. You know, the same way I said Brissett is really good for your locker room, I don't necessarily know Wentz is.
Yeah, I don't think so either. I really don't. I don't think so.
She said it was a joke.
It was a joke. I know.
I got you. Yeah, no doubt.
We got you. That's why we laugh. We got you. A little bit of college news. I want to know what you think about this. Where can I find it? Colorado adds Byron Leftwich to their coaching staff. You think that was a good move?
Absolutely. Byron Leftwich has a really good history of working with quarterbacks. He's been an offensive coordinator. I think he's building a resume where if he spends a couple of years in college working with Dion and company, he's going to find his way back to the NFL and be an offensive coordinator. You know what I mean? Like, yeah. I think it's a great hire. Dion's put together a very strong coaching staff, and I like
got
that.
Warren Sapp over there now.
Yeah. So it's
Leftwich.
Yeah, I think he's building a really strong coaching staff. I think, correct me if I'm wrong, I believe he has Eddie George over there as well too.
I think so. Yeah, he's going to be really. He's coming out the gate firing on all pistons with that coaching staff, and I do think Colorado sort of kind of got screwed last season.
But I think it's smart that Dion is hiring the kind of guys that he's hiring, because when you're the head coach, you really have to be more of a delegator. You got guys like that have alpha personalities. They're going to all handle their business in their respective areas. So great hire by Dion and company.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Guys, I do want to remind you, you have up until 11:30 Eastern time to get your college basketball brackets in. Don't forget Wire to Wire March Madness Bracket Mania Challenge, $20 per entry. Get with your favorite host, myself, Mo, Gene. We can get you locked in there, get you hooked up for our March Madness Bracket Mania Challenge, up to $1,000 for the first prize winner. We talked about it yesterday. We know eggs cost a ton nowadays. $1,000 get you like 2 or 3 carton of eggs. So if you need some eggs, this is going to be perfect for you. So jump on in there, guys. $20 per entry. Get your bracket filled out. Get her entered in. Watch Wire Sports. Get with your favorite host. Jump on in there. You gotta be in it to win it, y'all. Gotta be in it to win it.
I love that. You're right.
Gotta be in it to win it, y'all.
Gotta be in it to win it, because if you don't win it, then you're in a situation where you can put something on some eggs. I mean, you can't pay them off, but you can put something on it. Maybe get you half a carton or something like that. You know
put some eggs on loan.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? Put some interest on some eggs if you have to. Like,
put some eggs on loan.
Maybe you get a deal if you get farm fresh. I don't know. You get a deal.
She said she about to get some chicken.
See, there you go, Key.
Key. Thinking out the box.
That is thinking outside the box. Get your own chickens. That's what I'm talking about.
Thinking out the box. There we go. We got about 10. We got about 10 minutes.
Blow up.
Oh yeah. We got about 10 minutes left to go here on the morning show on Water Wire Sports Network. There was some news from Steelers camp yesterday. Former Steeler Najee Harris was up here talking about some. There was really no leadership last year with the Steelers. Him saying that sort of kind of shocked me with the coach that Mike Tomlinson is. I don't know if I would have said that to the media. I don't know if I would have said that. I think he should have kept that to himself. What do you think about that, Mo? I was sort of kind of shocked he made that statement.
Right, because that's a shot at Mike Tomlin and his coaching staff, right?
Yeah.
And because I believe Najee Harris signed with the Chargers.
Yep,
So
he did.
Not having worked with the man at all, he's basically saying like, well, Coach Harbaugh is a leader, right? Which he is. I think, dude, if the Steelers don't want you, it's just a breakup, right? It's just a good old fashioned breakup.
Yep.
You just part ways, but you don't have to run your mouth. Like, if you want to have a long career in the NFL like that, you probably don't want to like burn bridges and run your mouth. Like, unless you're a franchise running back where people are going to go like, man, that's Najee Harris. Like, as opposed to like, yeah, we got Najee Harris. Like, I'm just saying, like, you're not a 1,500-yard back. You're not that dude.
Right.
You're the dude that if they go, Najee, we need you to have 1,000-yard season, you'll crack 1,000. Najee, we need a 1,500-yard season.
He ain't doing that.
You'll crack 1,000. You're that dude that cracks 1,000 in a 17-game season. So, I mean, if you're just a guy, you shouldn't be running your mouth like that.
I've never been crazy, and I've said it on this show before as well on Sports Report. I've never been a fan of Najee Harris. I've just never been a fan. He's that type of dude to me that gets to the sticks, and then that's it. He doesn't do anything extra. He didn't have that extra burst to move any further than that to me. He's not the greatest running back at breaking tackles. He's just, like you said, he's just a guy. He's just somebody that can 4 yards here, 3 yards there. Yeah. That's it. Nothing really special. And I say this because I've had him in fantasy football several years. He's just not that guy to me. And he goes to the Chargers. I think he replaces Gus Edwards. So if J.K. Dobbins goes down, then that's what the Chargers would be stuck with. I'm just not crazy about Harris. There's a reason why Jaylen Warren has been productive in that system, because he's a different back.
Yeah, look, I will say this about Najee Harris. Jim Harbaugh wants to play a physical brand of football, and he's going to do the 3 yards in a cloud of smoke. And if he thinks Najee Harris is that guy, then that makes sense why he would bring him in. Look, the running joke about Najee Harris is he's like 6'2", right? 6'2", 6'3". Mm-hmm. So he can fall for 3 yards. I mean, you can get to the line of scrimmage and fall for 3 yards.
Yeah.
But so look, I think he's a good player. I don't want to say he's not a good player. I don't think he's a move the needle player though.
No. I don't think he is either. Alex says Najee's going to be good in LA again when he get opportunities. I just don't see him being anything extra. Like Mo said, 1,000 yards. Okay, I'll get you 1,000, 1,200, 1,500 yards. Yeah. Okay, I'll get you 1,000.
Yeah, I don't disagree with Alex. But here's the thing, Alex. He was good. He was good in Pittsburgh. That's what guys that are just good just guys do. They good. He good.
Yeah.
You ain't go this time next year. We're not gonna be like, man, look at Najee Harris, 1,500 yards, 12 touchdowns. We're not gonna have that conversation. If you play fantasy football, he ain't gonna be one of your first picks.
Yeah, definitely. He will be your second or third running back off the board. That's for sure.
I'm trying to win in fantasy football. I don't think Najee Harris is gonna be one of my first picks.
First time in his career, he has a good QB.
If you want to lose in fantasy football,
yeah. He said this would be the first time.
But the flip side is the QB's like, oh, just another guy. And by the way, don't do that. Let's not try to make don't do that. Let's not try to make Najee Harris out like he's special. The man averages under 4 yards a carry. That's not by accident. That's who he is. Don't do that.
Yeah.
Well, he ain't never had
Yeah.
a quarterback, so you don't do that. Don't do that, man. He an average running back. Let's
Oh yeah.
agree to
Oh yeah.
agree to on one thing. He an average running back. You're not getting the second coming of Jerome Bettis. You're not, you know what I'm saying? Like, this ain't Earl Campbell, right? This ain't
right.
Let's calm down. It's Najee Harris. And by the way, very few Alabama running backs pan out, right? Most of those dudes, they're not great the next level. Most of them don't pan out.
Yeah.
I like Justin Herbert and Najee too, but if you Justin Herbert, don't expect Najee to pick up in blitz protection.
Facts. And that's what he needs. All right, we got a few minutes left here on Coffee and Sports in the Morning. Mo, why don't you go ahead and close us out?
Hey, thank you guys so much for joining us this morning. Appreciate everybody up in the chat. Make sure you take your time and check out all the great content we have at Wire to Wire Network. And by the way, Will brought it up. Still got time. Get in our March Madness bracket. $20. Give you a chance to win $1,000. This is a chance to put your basketball mind, your college basketball mind up against others and see where you're at. You still got time. Wire to Wire March Madness Bracket Mania. We appreciate you guys. Make sure to take the time to join now. Still got time. Let's get into it.
Very quickly, and Mo mentioned it earlier. Enjoy all the great content here on Wire to Wire Network. My man Gene and the crew, they did a bracketology show. So you can go and check that show out to help you with your bracket. So definitely go ahead, get your bracket filled out. You can use that show as a guide to help you make the right picks and possibly win $1,000. Again, that's steak. That's a lot. That's a lot of eggs. You can get a few steaks with that. So you can do a lot with that $1,000.
Well, see, I know we're about to get out of here, but Key got me thinking, like, I would take that $1,000, go get me a couple of chickens.
Yeah. Get you a couple of chickens real quick. That's what I'm talking about. All right.
Somebody said who you got. I got Houston. I got Houston winning it all.
I got Houston too. Just too athletic to me. Too athletic. I think they win it. I think my son, though, if memory serves, my son made an interesting pick. I think he picked Florida.
Did he? Uh-oh.
I think he picked Florida. Okay. So
I'm not mad at that pick.
So that's gonna be interesting to see if that comes through. So we'll see. All right, everybody. Great show tonight. Great show this morning. I want to say thank you to everybody who came out. We do appreciate you. Great chat. Appreciate you guys for coming out. Mo, thank you for coming out, being part of the panel. And I will see you guys next week right here on Wire to Wire Network for Coffee and Sports in the Morning. You guys have a great day. Happy bracket and take care.